made up his mind that you shall never reach the provincial legislature.
It's bad, Patrick, bad.
What other words of cheer do you have for me?
You must issue a statement. People are getting confused. Some are hostile. The fact is, Belney's inflamed opinion to such a degree, I can't guarantee that we'd even carry Scurry.
Well, I'll sue the Blatherskite.
Sue?
Yes, sue.
He has witnesses. You want my advice? Your wife should announce publicly that her action was due to a nervous condition. Temporary derangement of a sort.
A decidedly improper suggestion.
Patrick, I'm going to speak plainly and fast, because I'm on my way to Bilton and they want a report from me. You're in no position to ignore public opinion. The stakes are too high. I've heard it said in not a few circles that you're the kind of stuff out of which prime ministers are made.
Oh, come, none of this gammon with me.
He's right, Pat. I've heard the same.
I, Prime Minister?
Don't nip a great career in the bud. You must search your soul and your conscience, Patrick. Much as I detest Belney and his tactics, he may have a point about your daughter. Well, I mean to say, if there's going to be trouble for the girl in the community, that's bound to reflect on you, too. That might hurt the party.
Yes. You've got a point there. But what about the girl?
I'm thinking about her. What benefits the party benefits you, and therefore the child. Also, may I add, what's bad for you will affect her, too. She's bound to suffer in the end. Well, if I'm to make the coach to Bilton.
Right.
Think it over, Pat.
Yes.
I'll be back tomorrow. A lot of people want to know where you stand.
Good night, Pat.
Good night. Good night. Vicky. Vicky.
Yes, Patrick.
May I see you for a minute? Vicky.
I know what you're going to say.
Oh, you heard.
Yes, I heard.
Well, perhaps I may never get to be Prime Minister, but I certainly thought I'd bring you proudly to Ottawa someday, the wife of a member of Parliament.
And a child makes all that difference.
Everything is against her, Vicky. That fiend on the Clarion, her schoolmates and politics. And then again, well, I wouldn't call her irresponsible.
Irresponsible?
But whatever it is, it's worrisome. These accidents, the fire in the orphanage, now the mushroom.
Ah, no, Patrick.
I know she means well, poor waif. But, look, Vicky, suppose just for argument's sake, we send the child away. No, now hear me out. We send her away and, of all time, to be chief of a fire department.
You were saying, for argument's sake.
Yes. Look at it this way. Suppose although I'm not a rich man, I'd support the child, give her everything she needs, every advantage until she was of age. Or even beyond that.
Everything short of a home.
But she'd be in a home of her own faith, away from here. We'll adopt another child later. In the meantime, Patsy won't have to swim upstream all the way. It's a sin to put a child through what she's going through.
Well, maybe it's also a sin to take a child from her parents.
Vicky, it isn't as if she'd been with us for years or as if she were our own child. After all, it was only an accident that you met her in the first place just a few days ago.
But everything's an accident, Patrick. Meeting you was an accident, and it seems just a few days ago. What has being an accident got to do with the love I have for you?
With this high wind and the drought. Vicky, I have rarely asked you to trust my judgment against yours. But I have a sixth sense about this. I feel in my bones that it'll be wrong to keep her. Not only for us, but for the child. You do understand, don't you?
Understand what?
That Patsy has to go.
Patrick, your mind is made up?
Yes.
What is Harold?
It's really awful. The roof and one of the walls is falling in already.
Was anybody hurt?
I don't know. They're all fighting like 60 to keep it from spreading. It's terrible. A burning beam fell on some of the firemen, landed right on top of.
Patrick, Mr. McChesney.
What about it?
Oh, Artemis, is he hurt? Is he all right?
Well, he was when I left. But it's getting worse. Mr. Gogarty asked me to stop by to get some of the women folk to help with the bandages and buckets of water and all like that. And that's why I'm here.
Buckets around back. The other side.
Under control. Good. Suspicion of arson. What? Started in a pile of lumber back there.
Arson? Are the councilmen all here?
Yes.
Call a special meeting of the council immediately. Whoever started this should be locked up for the rest of his life in a prison for the criminal and insane.
Someone's going to break down, we know that. And someone's going to rush up.
I declare the meeting open. We are here to investigate a report of arson. I do not hesitate to say that anyone who would commit arson when the whole countryside is inflammable must not only be insane, but criminally so.
Are you sure you want to make an open hearing of this, Mr. Reeve?
Why not?
I have a feeling that certain disclosures might embarrass people in high places.
All the more reason to seek those certain disclosures.
Hear, hear.
I trust that you will not let party scruples, Mr. Hurdwell, stand in the way of this inquiry.
Well, that you may rest assured.
Then perhaps you will have the goodness to explain your cryptic statement.
We shall see, sir. We shall see.
Oh, Mr. Bellney, are you here in the capacity of reporter?
What if I am? Isn't this an open hearing?
Yes, even for a closed mind.
I resent that.
Pray do.
Chairman of the council, I call for order. There will be no exchange of personalities. I take it you have business here, Miss McChesney?
Well, isn't this an open hearing?
What can you tell us, Mr. Pringle?
Well, sir, I found evidence of the fire having been set by matches.
May I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Certainly.
Did anybody remain after class today, Miss Hanover?
That's an unfair question, Mr. Hurdwell.
It's a material question.
Patricia McChesney stayed after class.
As an honor student. Isn't that true, Alice?
Yes.
The council alone will ask questions.
Was she there alone, Miss Hanover?
Yes.
What was she doing?
Feeding some animals we keep as class pets.
Were there matches in the room?
Yes. To light the stove in the morning.
Where do you keep them?
Behind the animal cages.
In other words, you think it's possible that the little girl who stayed behind played with matches or something?
I think nothing of the sort.
In view of the circumstances, I disqualify myself as chairman of this hearing. Please take over, Mr. Wormsley.
But, Mr.
No, please do.
And now, Mrs. Ames, in a few words, what can you tell us?
Well, I was walking home after a visit with my daughter-in-law, Mrs. Dunlap, in Prince Street. She's been ill lately.
In a few words, Mrs. Ames.
Well, as I was passing the school, I see young Miss McChesney coming out.
What's impressive about that?
She near bumped into me.
Remarkably
Let
irrelevant.
her speak, Gogarty.
It was after school hours, and there was nobody else around.
Was there any sign of a fire?
Well, I think maybe I smelled smoke. Yes, there was a smell of something burning.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Bellney, I believe you have some pertinent information for us.
I'm afraid so. Truth is sometimes painful, gentlemen. Though I am loath to say what I'm about to, I feel that I must acquaint the council with a serious fact. This unfortunate child has a record of having caused a fire in an orphanage before coming to Ontario.
What authority do you have for this information?
Mr. Swayze will corroborate me.
Well, you see, me and the wife, we adopted a boy from the same orphanage as the party in question. And the very first day we got him, he tells us that the little one adopted by the Reeve, begging your pardon, Your Honor, this little one, she sets fire